Hello everyone, and welcome to Acadium On Air. I'm Tom Udovich, co-founder of Acadium Financial Partners. It gives me great pleasure to be your host today, and I'm in the Acadium studio, joined by my partner of Acadium, Frank Heisa.
Tom.
Hi, Frank.
Good morning.
It's an election year, Frank.
I know.
We are often asked, what does an election, a specific party, or even a particular political outcome mean for investors? Surprisingly, the data reveals that returns for a balanced portfolio remain almost identical, whether Democrats or Republicans hold office. The numbers are 8.4% annual compounded return for Democrats and 8.3% for Republicans. Considering over 160 years of outcomes, the variance is 0.1%. This tells us something about the hype that surfaces every few years.
It sure does. That's right, Tom. And I think that because presidential elections are such significant events, that there's a very common tendency for us to want to draw a line between the election and what might happen after the election. This link, it turns out, is very difficult to make. It's not that the President of the United States has no influence on market behavior. It's just that in addition to the election this year, investors are also thinking about interest rates, energy prices, a recession, wars in Ukraine and Israel. They're thinking about technological breakthroughs. And so the President of the United States does matter to investors, but so do the presidents of other countries. So do CEOs of large corporations. And because there are so many factors in play every day, I don't think it's possible to determine what's going to happen to the market based on the next person who lives in the White House. I understand that can be very tempting to do. However, the reality is that election years feel far more impactful than they actually are. If we look at the variance for a balanced portfolio going all the way back again to 1860, what we see is that the annual return of all election years is 8.7%. And the annual return during non-election years is 7.7%. So the difference over the past century and a half, Tom, is only 1%. Importantly, there's no signal here. We have no way to know ahead of time which election years will be higher or lower than average.
You look at 2020.
That's right, a perfect example.
Well, this points to probably the most important truth for investors regarding politics. Regardless of elections or parties, markets have rewarded investors who remained invested. Markets are good to people who do not lose sight of the reality that we are not investing in political parties. We are shareholders of successful companies focused on serving their customers and growing their businesses regardless of who's in the White House. In this final image, we've illustrated the hypothetical growth of $1 invested in the S&P 500 since the Great Depression. Although the S&P 500 is not a substitute for a diversified portfolio, it is a good representation of what many people mean when they say the market. As we easily see, the market trends up over time, regardless of who wins. As you stated earlier, Frank, U.S. presidents do impact market returns, but they do that alongside of hundreds of other important factors every day that you had mentioned, Frank, such as actions of foreign leaders, energy prices, global wars, interest rate changes, among a few.
Combined with all the things that happen every day, you add an election on top of that. And it can feel like a perfect storm of anxiety for investors. What we try to do is analyze the data and share our insights in a clear and applicable way. And the bottom line is that elections may feel impactful, but history shows otherwise. Amidst the uncertainty, the really important questions are, has your financial life changed due to current events? Have your goals changed? Have your chances of achieving your long-term plan diminished?
Yeah, all great points. With respect to the fact that this is an election year and there are real questions about the future of our politics, America remains the greatest and most prosperous nation on the planet. That can be argued, but it has served that way, and it looks like it's through the history of mankind as well. It's not perfect, but it is the best. Throughout its history, our nation has answered many challenges that were unprecedented and even existential and emerged stronger each time. It is said that history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. For this reason, in the long run, faith in the future is the only conclusion supported by the historical facts. Our nation is blessed with the perfect storm of ingenuity, industriousness, determination, and liberty.
In the ever-shifting landscape of election and non-election years, uncertainties every day, the cornerstone of successful investing remains a steadfast investor philosophy. And this is the foundation that supports sound financial decisions, ensuring that strategies are not just reactive to immediate events, but are grounded in a consistent and well-considered approach. This is our guiding light. Through the storm of short-term news headlines, providing stability and direction for our clients. First, risk and return are related. There is no return without risk. Markets are efficient. It's difficult to get an edge and consistently outperform the indexes. Capitalism will make you money over time. Stocks may seem irrational in the short term, but companies are not. And finally, that patience and discipline are how you earn your return.
The one thing that you had mentioned, Frank, about the market versus companies. It's funny, companies can go out of business, but have we ever seen the market go out of business?
Not yet.
Right. Okay. Just thought I'd add that. Thank you, Frank. And thank you for joining me in the studio today. And a big thank you to everyone who tuned in. We hope this conversation will be helpful for you in the months and years ahead, because there will be many more elections. And if you've enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and sharing this video with your friends and family. If you have questions that are unique to your individual circumstances, please reach out to myself, Frank, or Lindsay, so that we can consider whether this is anything appropriate for your tailored portfolio. We always say it, but sometimes we don't say it enough. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be your advisors and your friends. Have a great day, and we will see you all very soon.